Welcome to the Sisters of the Shire podcast. I'm Ashley.
And I'm Abby, and we have a special little guest today. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Hi, Luna.
This is Luna, our recently de-tonsiled, de-adenoided little lady who is home from school because she only got her surgery like 2 days ago.
2 days ago, I think, yeah.
So she's chilling at home with me. We've made the joke. She's not talking very much because of her throat. So we made the joke that we found her true identity, that she was a mermaid and she sold her voice to the sea witch to 4 legs. So
sure.
We finally found out that she's really a mermaid princess.
Yeah, I kind of knew it all along. The crazy hair.
It's her own mother, but no.
I could totally see her hair in like braids with like pearls in it and like a random like seaweed and stuff and like a big shell.
She is a singer. She sings all the time.
I could see it. But you know what? You had to sell that voice to get those legs. Was it worth it? Was it worth it?
It was worth it.
So Luna, are you so excited to hear all about what we've been listening to?
Yes.
That you'll have no context for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like,
I don't think it gets too graphic.
To a pretty story that's full of murder,
Yes,
sadness, orphans,
So we will do a recap, but Luna might still be a little bit in the dark. But hopefully with the holidays and everything, you somewhat remember the last few episodes. But if not, I will try and recap what I can without taking up the entire episode.
I wish it was cool enough to do recaps in like rap. Like,
I know.
Like super terrible rapping.
Mm-hmm.
Can I add my remembrance of what happened?
Yes, you start. I'll fill in the gaps.
All right. So at the beginning of the last episode, was it the beginning? Yes. So Finrod, is that how I'm thinking about? Finrod and Beren, and then 10 other elves, right? They weren't men. Were they men?
They were elves. They were Finrod's elves, yeah.
Went to go get a Silmaril, and that didn't go down very good. And they got cast into a pit. And
every time I re-listen to those episodes, I am so sad of myself that I don't reference this, so I'm going to reference it now. They went into the pit.
I thought you were going to say, the pits of despair.
Well, I already referenced that one, but I haven't referenced Parks and Rec, the pit.
You should have done like, you're in the pits of Nobody ever gets out.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Continue.
And during this time, didn't Luthien kind of have this like feeling of like, he needs my help?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so Melian was like, I'll help you out, right? Or
Her
like,
mom,
I
yes.
kind of know that he's in trouble too, kind of situation, and I'll help you out. And I can't remember, and I'm so sorry that I can't remember. Does she go there, or is she not there yet?
She's not there yet.
Okay.
She wants to go there. She is planning on going there. Yeah.
Yes. So they are battling Finrod and Beren. Huh? They're
Not
battling werewolves, right?
They're just in the pit for now. And Sauron is like slowly trying to get their names and stuff. And so they're sending werewolves in like one by one to like slowly kill off everyone until, in the hopes of getting their identities.
But doesn't okay, so the sad part is, doesn't Finrod not live?
Correct. Yes. So Sauron he thinks he's kind of picking up that Finrod might be the leader and might be actually like an important Noldor prince. So he's like,
Is it his necklace that gives it away?
No, it's the brilliance and shininess of his hair.
Oh. He's jealous of. He's like, where did you get that fantastic blowout? It's amazing.
So he sends his werewolf to Beren to try and get, Finrod to talk. But Finrod, under his oath to protect and help the house of... Oh, why can't I... It's gone. Barahir.
I was like,
the house of Beor.
Will be no help.
Yeah. Barahir being Beren's father, breaks from his bonds. He hulks out on these bonds and wrestles and fights the werewolf with his hands and his teeth. Kills the werewolf, but unfortunately, yes, he does die in the process.
So they killed each other.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be really funny though if the
There's
werewolves...
nothing funny about this, Abby.
Nope. If the werewolves in Tolkien lore are the type of werewolves that we normally hear about, where if you get bit by a werewolf, you become a werewolf.
Werewolf Finrod? Oh my gosh. I never thought of that. That would be amazing.
And the other elves that got eaten by a werewolf or bit by a werewolf,
yes.
There's just a whole tree
oh my gosh.
of elf werewolves now.
That is
and
amazing.
they look a little bit more mangy when they turn back to their elf selves. And that's how you know, and they have to live in the forest by themselves because they're not pretty enough to live with everyone else.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress.
So that's what's going on with Beren and Finrod. Beren is so heartbroken over Finrod's death. He basically lays over his body and falls unconscious. Meanwhile, Luthien does want to save Beren. She gets the spidey sense that something's wrong. She's going to leave Doriath, rescue her man, but unfortunately she asks her friend's own friend, Derek from the band, to help her in her rescue mission. And of course, he immediately tells on her to Thingol. So Thingol built her a tree house that is a prison.
Oh, yeah, and then she turns into Rapunzel.
Yes, she turns into Rapunzel.
With her crazy hair.
Yeah, she grows her hair super, super long, long enough to make a dark cloak for herself and a rope for her to climb down with. They're both magical because the cloak can wrap her beauty like a shadow. And
an invisibility cloak.
Like an invisibility cloak. And they were both laden with a spell of sleep.
Oh my gosh, can you find to post on our Instagram that picture of Thor and Ragnarok where he has just that shawl over him and they're like, I'm in disguise, and he just puts it over his mouth. It's yeah, see, no one will recognize me.
Yes, we should make that into a Luthien one. So she lets down her magic hair rope, lets it hang above her guards until they fall asleep. She climbs down her hair rope, puts on her cloak, and escapes. Unfortunately, Curufin and Celegorm, our least favorite Sons of Feanor, and his hound Huon are out for a hunt nearby. And how could you forget about Huon?
I know. I didn't forget. He's in my heart always.
Do you remember the two interesting prophecies about him?
That he could speak only twice.
3 times before he dies.
Before he dies. And he... Oh, something... I don't remember the other one. But I knew he could talk 3 times.
Yeah, so he could...
he had to choose, the right time.
Right. So the other prophecy is that he wouldn't die until he had met the mightiest wolf that would ever walk the earth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Celegorm and Curufin...
prophecy about me. I know. That's how I want to go.
You will eat all of the Cheez-Its before the noontide.
No, I will only pass away when I have conquered the mightiest chocolate chip cookie in the land.
So Celegorm and
Anybody
Curufin
would die
couldn't
from that anyway.
see or hear Luthien passing by because of her magic cloak, but Huon, with his super hound senses, could see her or smell her or whichever. So
I think of it like night vision goggles or like smell-o-vision, where he's like,
sure,
"You're
yeah.
there. I know you're there."
Yeah.
He's like Mrs. Norris from Harry Potter. How
Yes,
she
but
could
way more awesome.
sense him under the cloak.
Oh my gosh,
So-
does that make Celegorm or Celegorm Mr. Filch?
Mr. Filch. I mean, he's got the like personality almost.
Yeah, the demeanor's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
So Huon brings Luthien to his master Celegorm and his brother Curufin, and Luthien makes the unfortunately very naive mistake of trusting these Noldor princes. And she takes off her magic cloak and immediately tells them who she is, about her rescue mission, and everything that she's gonna do. But without her magical cloak hiding her beauty, Celegorm just basically like, yeah. Anyways, you're really hot. You're mine now. I'm going to take you to my soon-to-be palace. It's gonna be mine eventually. Nargothrond. I'm not sure if you heard of it, because Finrod's gone, and most of the people like me anyway. I'm a pretty cool guy. Just
He's got like sunglasses on and
yeah. No. He has the switchblade comb.
yeah. He's got the like sunglasses that have like big Oakleys, like the really big
Yes.
and he's got like a sweater tied around his neck, like very Harvard. Like,
Yes.
do you know who my father is?
So he just says he is going to help her, but he really just takes her back to Nargothrond, basically imprisons her, and sends a note to her dad, Thingol, basically ransoming her into marrying him.
So romantic.
Strong strategy.
So romantic.
Because, if Celegorm is able to marry Luthien, he would become the most powerful of the Noldor, and he would finally have a big enough army to retrieve those Silmarils he's been meaning to get to. Fortunately for Luthien, though, Huon decides, he likes this Luthien chick a lot better than his smelly master Celegorm. So he uses one of his 3 talking tokens to tell her how they're going to
He has a
escape
punch
together.
card.
Yes. So they sneak out of Nargothrond and head north to save Beren.
And he's big enough could ride him, right?
Correct, yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Yes.
What a dream.
Unfortunately, right before they arrive, Finrod had died. Quote, "Thus King Finrod Felagund, fairest and most beloved of the House of Finwë, redeemed his oath. R.I.P. Finrod."
The best of them. The best of them.
So when Luthien and Huon arrive, Luthien sings a song that Beren hears, but he thinks he's just dreaming, but he does sing a song back, and then he passes out. But luckily, Luthien hears his song, so she knows that Beren is there, is alive. She sings another song that makes the towers shake and the wolves howl and alerts Sauron to her presence. Sauron sends wolf after wolf across the bridge to retrieve her, also thinking to hold her for ransom because, she's a prize to be won, of course.
Okay.
But Huon protects her and quickly kills each one that Sauron sends. And then Sauron sends his scariest wolf, Dragluin, who is a very scary, scary werewolf. But Huon manages to kill him. And then Sauron decides, you know what? This must be Huon. Dragluin tells him it's Huon before he dies. And he knows about this prophecy about he's not going to die until the mightiest wolf encounters him. So he's going to turn himself into the mightiest wolf. So Sauron turns himself into a werewolf
Amazing.
that is uber terrifying. So terrifying that at the sight of him, Huon just leaps away. And when Luthien sees him, she just swoons. She faints. And as she falls back, her magic cloak manages to touch Sauron. And he hesitates, feeling the sleepy power of her cloak, which gives Huon just enough time to attack. Huon kicks Sauron's butt, literally has Sauron by the throat. Sauron keeps trying to change form to escape, but he can't. So Luthien makes him a deal. Basically, yield the tower or Huon kills your body so only your foul spirit will be left to go back to Morgoth. Sauron yields.
Him.
I know. Sauron yields, Huon lets him go, and Sauron then takes the form of a vampire. Awesome. Flees to Doriath, the creepy forest, and makes it even more creepy. So Luthien now has the tower. She stands at the bridge and declared her power, which basically broke the tower, frees all the prisoners inside, but Beren didn't come out because he's still laying over Finrod's body, mourning his death. She goes to him, thinking he's dead. Eventually, they both realize, oh, we're both alive. We're both here. We're reunited. Yay.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yes. And then they bury Finrod's body there on his former isle.
Oh. So when you say she does her power...
Mm-hmm. It doesn't say. It just and she used her enchantments, or she sang forth a mighty song, or...
Is it kind of like in The Hobbit when suddenly Galadriel can do a sonic boom?
I think
light?
so. It's kind of like sound waves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what I kind of envision. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I guess elves can do that. Cool.
Sure. Okay. So we all caught up?
Yeah.
Any questions?
I just hope that in my lifetime they make a cinematic version of the werewolf fight, because that sounds amazing.
I want this whole thing to be a mini series so bad. Okay.
Yes.
So we start this week. Luthien and Beren, with no lack of effort on Luthien's part, have finally been reunited. And, they just walk through the woods, enjoy being back together, quote, renewing their joy. And though winter came, it hurt them not. For flowers lingered where Luthien went, and the birds sang beneath the snow-clad hills.
Oh, is Huon still alive?
Yes. So actually, we're just about to get to him.
Okay.
So I imagine being a third wheel to this romance was a bit awkward.
Right yeah.
Well, Huon actually takes a stance here that's commendable, but also I would just not do that. He actually goes back to Celegorm.
I mean, it's kind of like, I don't want to say his owner, but
or master. That sounds
business partner. I don't know.
I don't know what to call that either. But
his associate is,
yeah, I got nothing.
President and vice president.
So he goes back to Celegorm, and it doesn't exactly say if Celegorm knew if Huon helped Luthien escape, but it does say that their love was, quote, less than before.
So he's like, hey.
This is awkward.
Yeah, he's like, hey, how y'all doing? Guys, because Huon goes back, but he's like, hey, that girl that you're treating terribly is such a good person.
Well, he doesn't want to use up his talking things. He has to use this wisely.
But that's what I'm assuming he's thinking is
right.
Why did you do that?
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of why did you do that associated with Celegorm and Curufin. Because
I think we should rename our podcast called Why Did You Do That?
Yeah. Subtitle of the Silmarillion. Why did you do that?
Yeah. What was the reason?
So, do you remember when Luthien broke Sauron's tower on the Isle of Werewolves and how a bunch of prisoners and thralls were freed?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of these elves actually made their way to Nargothrond, and they're about to make the lives of Celegorm and Curufin pretty miserable. Karma's a bitch.
Yeah.
So,
Oh no, it's the consequences of my own action.
So these elves arrive in Nargothrond, and they tell everyone how their beloved King Finrod Felagund had died, and that, quote, a maiden had dared that which the Sons of Feanor had not dared to do.
Oh, snap.
Snap. Girl showed you up. And somehow hearing this makes them realize that I guess Celegorm and Curufin aren't all that great anyway. So yeah, somehow this was the determining factor. Like, I guess they're horrible people.
It's like, hey,
Yeah.
wait a minute. You know what vibe I'm getting from those brothers?
What?
Very like Princeton, Harvard, like trust fund babies, like
in
I
Social
don't have to work
Network.
for anything. My father gave me all this. And it's like
Yes.
I can get any girl I want, and like
Yes.
I don't work a day in my life, but they're like super popular still, but they are only
Yes.
popular because they're bullies
Yes.
and rich. That's the vibe
Pretty
I'm
much.
getting.
Yeah.
Like polos with sweaters around the neck and like khakis and boat shoes. That's the vision in my head.
Picture painted. So everyone that was before on Team Celegorm and Curufin are now all on Team Orodreth. Orodreth being Finrod's brother, who he had left in charge as like steward for the kingdom until he returned, but he's not going to return because he died. So so now the people have completely turned on Celegorm and Curufin, and they actually want them to pay for their treachery. However, Orodreth, having some wisdom, possibly from his brother, he does not want to kill them. He knows the dangers of kinslaying. You know, we've learned from that mistake, guys, so let's not do that.
Whoa, fellas.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So instead, he just basically kicks them out. Quote, and he swore that there should be little love between Nargothrond and the Sons of Feanor thereafter.
Ooh,
I know.
that cuts deep.
Little love. They are no longer on the Nargothrond VIP list. They're not allowed back.
They will not get a Christmas card. They are not on that list this year.
So how do you think they took the news?
I think they're too proud and get really grumpy about it, but they still go anyway. That's my thought.
So Celegorm just says, quote, let it be so. And then apparently there was a light of menace in his eyes. And Curufin, he just smiles, which is like so much more scary and dangerous.
Yeah. Like, I don't like that. Like,
Yeah.
cool.
And actually, no one went with them. Not any of the Nargothrond people they had previously swayed, not even their own people that they had brought from their old lands to Nargothrond.
Yeah, it's like, what? It's in a lot of movies. I think more like cartoons, but like, you just see all the townspeople just like turning and scowling at them, and they're like,
Yes.
hey, come on, I did this for you. And then like they're like, boo, boo.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey. And then they get tomatoes thrown at them and they run out of town.
Yep. That should have happened.
Yeah.
But they're more like, I don't want to associate myself with you because, quote, for all perceived that the curse lay heavily upon the brothers and that evil followed them.
Well, yeah. They also didn't
I'm
seem
getting a
like great
vibe.
guys.
Yeah. And here we get to finally meet a new important character that we know from other things. But we only get to meet him for like a millisecond.
Okay, I'm ready.
Celebrimbor.
Oh, thanks to the Rings of Power show, I understand that reference now.
Yes.
Okay.
So Celebrimbor, the one who created the rings, was actually Curufin's son.
Oh, that seems.
Yeah.
So when he talks
Not
about,
like father, like son.
so when he talks about like in the Rings of Power, spoilers if you haven't seen it, you should by now. Come on.
Get on the train.
When he has the hammer of Feanor,
That's his uncle.
and is it his uncle or his
Yeah.
grandpa?
Oh, wait. Father. Grandpa. Yeah, sorry.
Grandpa.
Grandpa.
So,
My bad.
I mean, that makes sense why he'd have it
Right.
then. Okay. Oh.
And that's kind of where he maybe got some of his, like, I wish it like explained this timeline a bit more. Like, did Celebrimbor actually know Feanor, or was Celebrimbor alive in Valinor? Yeah, who knows?
I feel like he was.
Right.
Because, like, the vibe that I got from the Rings of Power show was like he knew a lot. And I'm thinking maybe he learned it from his grandpa.
Right.
But who knows? I don't know the timeline.
Yeah.
But it makes sense now that he's so that like engineer, artist kind of like personality that it came through that timeline or that line of relatives, like that
Right.
family line.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he is only mentioned here for like a millisecond, and it's only saying that Celebrimbor, Curufin's own son, didn't follow him. He actually renounced his father's actions and stayed in Nargothrond.
Wow.
Which brings me to another interesting tie-in. So if Celebrimbor was staying in Nargothrond, Celebrimbor knew Finrod.
Okay.
And which means that when he's hanging out with Galadriel in the show, like, hey, I knew your brother.
Yeah. Yeah. He probably then knew her too, like for longer
Right.
than we know.
Right. So just
Even though
throwing that in
in the
there.
show, he looks ancient compared to her.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. So, the only creature to follow Celegorm and Curufin was loyal Huon.
Yeah,
Poor loyal
such a
Huon.
good boy.
Such a good boy.
Such a good boy.
So, Curufin, Celegorm, and Huon head out.
No.
Their plan,
He's the best boy.
he is the best.
Just a good boy. He is the best boy.
So their plan is to go to Himring, where Maedhros lives. Now, I'll probably have to post a map simultaneously with this episode. If you want to Google one real fast, if you just look up Beleriand.
Okay.
So if we're looking at Nargothrond, which is probably in your bottom left corner. Yes? No?
Hold on. Okay, so we've got. I don't know if I'm assuming.
So, like, if you center in on, like, Doriath being the middle, and then kind of look a tiny bit out from there. Okay. So, we got Nargothrond in the bottom left corner. This is where they're being kicked out from. Their plan is to go to Himring, which is in the top right corner
Okay, of Doriath or
of Beleriand.
Beleriand.
So, yeah, they're like northeast Beleriand. So, on the map, you would say, oh, just go straight through. But what's the key thing with Doriath?
it's
That's Thingol's territory. You can't go in there if you're not on the list.
don't like no trespassers.
Yeah, that's Thingol's no touchy zone. No
Yeah.
coming in. No touchy.
What is it from? You will not cross this line.
Yeah.
From Night at the Museum.
Yes.
This is a no touching zone. You will not cross this line.
So they're faced with two options then. They can go south, which is the way I would go, into East Beleriand. That Ariand is kind of known as Amrod and Amras's territory. They're other brothers. They're the youngest brothers, the twins.
Okay.
It's pretty open. Not much going on there. Maybe settlements of men in there, but not much other than that. Pretty safe. The other way, if you go north, you get to go through that lovely favorite vacation spot that we talk about so much on this podcast, Nan Dungortheb, aka the Valley of Dreadful Death.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So if you had the choice, Valley of Dreadful Death or your brother's territory, which way would you go?
Ooh. That's a toughie. It's a toughie.
Yeah.
I personally would just head to the beach, go the other way. Just leave that
Go to the
plan
coast.
behind. Yeah.
So they actually chose to go north. But instead of going through the nasty valley, as they leave Nargothrond, they head north to that little area that says Dimbar, Dimbar.
Okay.
And their plan is just to stay as close to the borders of Doriath as possible by just riding really fast so that the scouts of Thingol's elves don't see them.
The best plan.
But I'm like, who knew that was even an option? Like,
Yeah. It's like, let's just go. We can't stop. We're not stopping.
but with all the luck in the world, guess who just so happened to be in the forest of Brethel, which is right next to Dimbar? Who's been living in the woods lately?
I'm trying to think. There's a lot of people living in the woods. There's
Well, our happy
orcs
couple,
and
Beren and
Sauron.
Luthien, had just been living in the woods. They've been wandering here and there. All the while, Beren is thinking about how he hasn't fulfilled his vow to retrieve the Silmaril. It's just weighing on him.
He got distracted. Distracted.
Vows are very important. You can't just leave them unresolved. Quote, and against his heart, he resolved. When Luthien was come again within the safety of her own land to set forth once more. So once Luthien's safe, I'm going to go fulfill my vow. But here I'm asking, define safety in her own land. It was her own father who imprisoned her. So,
Little awkward.
yeah. So Beren tells her, this is kind of my plan. Once we get you safe into Doriath, I'm going to go and, go back to my quest. And she's like, nuh-uh. I just went through so much work getting us back together again.
Do you know what I've done? Do you know where I've been?
And she says, quote, you must choose, Beren, between these two, to relinquish the quest and your oath and seek a life wandering upon the face of the earth, or to hold to your word and challenge the power of darkness upon its throne. But on either road, I shall go with you, and our doom shall be alike. So, either way, I'm going with you.
Yeah. I've got to go alone, Sam. Yes.
And I'm coming with you. Yes. So here we have Beren and Luthien in this very serious discussion. I imagine it being more like, have you ever been in a car with couples when they're arguing?
I try not to be, but yes, I've been in that situation.
We're just like, I'm not here. But like, you can just like, there's just like bubble around them of seriousness. Like, you are not asking to go to the bathroom. You are not asking a question. You are not interrupting this by any means possible.
You're like looking at the interior of the car and
This is nice.
yeah. Ooh, a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. Well, in the heat of this discussion, this is when Celegorm and Curufin see them from afar. And this scene goes very fast in the book, so I'm going to try to slow it down as much as possible because it gets a little confusing. Okay.
Okay,
so,
I'm ready.
Celegorm and Curufin see Beren and Luthien a bit away. Celegorm aims his horse right towards Beren and literally rides straight at him. He wants to ride Beren down.
Dang.
Curufin, who is riding beside Celegorm, swerves at the last minute. He stoops down beside Luthien and picks her up and puts her on his saddle.
What? What?
Somehow, yeah. Apparently he's like a renowned horseman or something. And then
He lassos her.
somehow Beren is also renowned, but he's renowned for having an amazing leap. I don't know how you were renowned for having a leap, but
Yeah.
apparently this guy's got hops.
Yeah. Yeah. He can slam dunk in any game.
So
He's got his own pro shoe.
So Beren actually leaps out of Celegorm's oncoming charge, but he also manages to jump right onto Curufin's horse, where Luthien is also somehow. So
It's like a sandwich. It's like a
yeah, so there are like 3 people on this horse.
The horse is like, what the crap? What's going on?
So Beren takes Curufin by the throat from behind and hurls him backward, which
Dang.
forces all of them to the ground together, including the
Yeah,
horse.
that wasn't really thought through.
Yeah. Luthien is flung to the side on the grass. Beren and Curufin are rolling on the ground, throttling each other.
Wow. It's giving me like Homer and Bart.
Yes.
He's like, ah.
Why, you little?
Yeah.
Then Celegorm, who is still on his horse, circles back and holding a spear in his hand, he comes riding straight again towards Beren. Then Huon, who is also here among this catastrophe, forsaking his master Celegorm again, he leaps at Celegorm's horse, which makes him swerve to the side, missing Beren. And then Huon stands in front of Beren, which ensures that Celegorm's horse won't come any closer to him.
He's the best boy.
You don't even know.
Boy. He deserves all the belly rubs and all the treats.
Celegorm starts yelling and cursing both Huon and his own horse, but neither would budge. Like,
He's just
these
losing all
poor
his
animals, like, he's the worst.
Yeah. He's going to lose all his friends.
Then Luthien stands up, tells Huon not to kill Celegorm. And you know what? Pause here, but no matter how many times I read this scene, I never once thought that Huon was going to kill him. But I guess good job being clear on your intentions, Luthien. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't kill him. Well, I wasn't going to.
Yeah. Okay. You're twisting my arm. She's got a real knack for saying, don't kill them to people who, like, should definitely not exist for very long. Like, it would help the story immensely.
Yes. So instead of killing them, Beren takes their gear and weapons, which is lucky for Beren because Curufin actually has a really cool knife. This knife even has a name.
I mean, they all have to, right?
Right. So
They
this
have to
one is
learn
called
it in knife school.
yes. This knife is called Angrist or Iron Cutter. And it was actually made by a dwarf named Telkar, who later would also make Narsil.
Oh.
I'm not sure if you know that name. I know we
Yes.
didn't go to sword school, but in case you
I
don't know
know
what that
that
sword
name.
is, that's actually the sword that's going to cut the ring from Sauron's finger and then end up into a million pieces and then get reforged into, Aragorn's sword.
Okay. Can I say something
Yes.
about that? Really side tangent for a second.
Yes.
So in the movie, and I'm assuming it's very similar in the book because anyway, that Sauron steps on Narsil and that's what breaks it. And
Yeah,
then
don't get me started
that's
on
what he
that, but yeah.
that's what he uses to chop off his finger. Anyway,
Right.
who went back to that
And picked up all the little pieces.
Yes.
Oh, you bet Elrond did. You bet Elrond did.
He has a metal detector.
These are going to be important later, I'm sure of it.
Does anybody have a Ziploc? I need to put this in something.
A Ziploc baggie, please.
Yeah. That always, I've never thought of that before, of like, that was
Yeah.
a battlefield, and then they found all the tiny pieces, and they
I
found,
wonder what they
knew
did with Sauron's helmet.
it's a lamp in someone's house.
So,
It's like a jack-o'-lantern that scared all the elf kids. Anyway,
this
so back to the
knife.
story, but I've always
Back
thought
to the
about like
Nope. Valid point.
picked up all
Valid
the
point.
pieces.
So
We'll
this
say
knife,
it's Elrond with a Ziploc
a metal
bag.
detector and a Ziploc.
Yeah.
I like it. So this knife would, quote, iron it would cleave as if it were green wood. So it
Whoa.
was super sharp.
Wow.
So now that Beren is done with these two sorry excuses for elves, he literally lifts Curufin up and, quote, throws him from him.
To add insult to injury,
Right.
I don't like you. Get out of here.
Oh, just you wait. So, and then Beren tells them that, you should go back to your kinsfolk so that maybe they can teach you to, quote, turn your valor into worthier use.
Ooh.
Snap, snap.
Burn.
Oh, and also you'll be walking there because I'm about to take your horse. Quote,
Yeah, the
for
horse,
the
like-
service of Luthien, and it may be accounted happy to be free of such a master. So,
Yeah, the horse like
is
looks at him
"Yay!"
like, yeah, no, the horse looks at him like, like, you jerk. Like turns up their nose, like tosses their mane, like, I don't
Yes.
even want to look at you.
So Curufin curses Beren and basically says that he hopes he dies.
Oh my gosh, the horse turned into Maximus and went with Rapunzel and Flynn Rider.
Yes, I like it. I like it. Then Curufin ignores the walking idea, and he actually kind of outsmarts Beren here, and he just climbs up with Celegorm on his horse.
Yeah, he's like, suck it.
Yeah.
And then he puts his arms around him, like riding a motorcycle.
So Beren, thinking the matter resolved, starts walking towards Luthien. But Curufin, he wants to have the last word. He's not going to take this defeat lying down. So he takes Celegorm's bow and fires an arrow at Luthien. Why not Beren? I don't know. Maybe this would hurt him more, but
Or
fires an arrow.
Why?
And Huon actually manages
Why
to
would
catch
you
the
do
arrow in
that?
his mouth.
Oh, yes, because he's the best boy.
Right? But then
I got the stick.
But then
brings it
Curufin
back to
shoots
him.
another arrow. And this
no.
time, Huon, probably isn't even done landing from his awesome leap to catch the arrow.
No.
So Beren springs in front of Luthien, taking the arrow in his own chest.
No.
Huon runs at Curufin and Celegorm so fast that they flee in fear.
Gosh. They're like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Run.
Huon comes back to
bad
Beren and Luthien with an herb to help heal Beren's wound.
Oh gosh.
Thought you could use this.
Oh my gosh. He's the cutest.
And with the herb and Luthien's power and love, she manages to heal Beren.
Oh, she is Rapunzel. Did she sing a song with her magic bear?
Probably. So the three of them decide to head to the land of Doriath, where at least the Sons of Feanor won't be.
Yeah.
But Beren is still not content, you know? He still is torn between his oath and being with his love.
He's, he's one of those guys that, like, when his heart and mind are set to something, he's got to see it through.
Mm-hmm. Quote, and knowing Luthien to be now safe, arose one morning before the sun and committed her to the care of Huon. Then, in great anguish, he departed while she slept yet upon the grass.
No, they just got back together.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to be pissed.
She's going to be pissed. Yeah. Then
she wakes up. She's like, oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, no, he did not.
Yeah.
So.
And I could see her just like booking it. And he's like, oh, no.
So Beren rides north with all speed till he arrives at what was formerly called Ardgalen, or the Green Region. Not sure if you remember that, but that's where the Battle of Sudden Flame first started.
Mm-hmm.
It's no longer called that because it's no longer green. It's now called Anfoglith, or no, it's better. Anfoglith, or Gasping Dust.
Oh,
pleasant.
Nice.
And from this area, he can see the mountains of Thangorodrim that tower over Morgoth's fortress of Angband. So here he decides to send his horse away and, quote, then...
Why they be sending horses away all the time in these stories? Like when poor Bill the pony had to go away.
Well, it's not safe for Bill. It's not safe for Maximus here.
No.
So, quote, then, being now alone and upon the threshold of the final peril, he made the song of parting in praise of Luthien and the lights of heaven, for he believed that he must now say farewell to both love and light. Of that song, these words were part. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Are you ready?
No. But yes. It's always sad. You always tell me, are you ready? And then it's going to be sad.
Mm-hmm. Farewell, sweet earth and northern sky, forever blessed, since here did lie. And here with lissom, or like thin, supple, graceful limbs. So, and here with graceful limbs did run, beneath the moon, beneath the sun. Luthien Tynuviel, more fair than mortal tongue can tell, though all to ruin fell the world, and were dissolved and backward hurled, unmade into the old abyss, yet were its making good for this, the dusk, the dawn, the earth, the sea, that Luthien for a time should be.
So beautiful.
And he sang aloud, caring not what ear should overhear him, for he was desperate and looked for no escape.
Oh, okay. That's gorgeous. He's a beautiful man. But it doesn't make sense to me that he is going through with this when all he wanted was to be with her, and he was with her. Like, I don't understand.
Honor.
So he wants to go defeat Morgoth? Is that what he's trying to do?
No, he wants to fulfill his oath so he can have her honorably.
He's not cheating. he didn't cheat
Exactly.
the game here, and
Yes.
but
And so that he can officially be, married to her without, with the parents' consent. And
but knowing her dad, he'd be like,
actually, I asked for two somewhere else.
yeah, he didn't really follow the rules, so this is void. You don't really get this.
What I don't get, and I
So
can't,
good day, sir.
what I don't get, and what I can't quite put my finger on what it reminds me of is why he thinks he has to do this without her. Like, obviously he wants to protect her, but like, seriously, dude, she already rescued you. She's pretty capable. She's freaking magical. Mm-hmm. Why are you trying to...
She fought off Sauron and like lived to tell the tale about that. But it's like, I don't know. I think that it's very common in movies that have this of like the woman shows that she's capable and helpful, and he's like, I have to do this by myself.
Yeah.
And then they leave while they're sleeping.
Yes,
and
they
then,
always leave while they're sleeping.
And then either it turns that they don't make it and they die, or they win.
The woman ends up having to come later. Like,
Yeah.
he just waited for me.
Yeah. This could have been solved a long time ago. But I don't know. I don't understand that trope, I guess you would call it, because I've seen it so much. That I'm like, I understand the sense of, I don't want both of us to die because I love you so much. I don't want you to get hurt. And if
Right.
I die, you get to live on and you can have another life without me. That, okay. Like, that's an argument for that.
Guess,
But
and she already offered it though. Like, she already put it on the table. Like, I'll go with you. I'm going with you.
you're leaving her to be sad and like heartbroken for the rest of her life. What's better about that? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, it's not better.
Yeah. It's not.
So that's actually where I'm going to leave you today. So
Oh, man.
very mean, very cruel. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, that's how they would often end like an episode if like this was like a TV series. It's like him leaving and then riding off, and you see him heading towards his fate, his doom. And then it
Exactly.
would cut to credits. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well,
So yeah, sorry. This is probably going to be 5 parts. Sorry, not sorry.
that's okay. That's fine with me.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Be sure
Yes.
to rate and review us on Spotify and Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. Because, guys,
Google.
I asked for a Christmas present. I mean, I'm not saying I'm disappointed. I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah.
All I asked was for a 5-star rating, and none of you.
You didn't open up a gift under the tree and you open it up and it's just a glowing 5-star rating. And it wasn't there.
It wasn't. I'm not offended. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
But we do have some new countries.
Ooh. Okay,
We
Luna.
have so many.
What's your guess of a country that listens to our podcast?
We have so many countries.
Name a country in the whole world. Can you think of a country? What are some countries Mommy's been to?
You haven't been to any of these.
Huh?
You haven't been to any of these countries. We have 3
dang
new
it.
countries.
Okay. Well, what are our 3 new amazing countries that made the awesome choice to listen to us?
Iran.
Oh,
Yeah. Austria. I think
cool.
we have a bit of Austrian in us.
We do.
And South Korea.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Right. So,
I,
welcome to the fellowship of friends that we
man.
have here.
it says my computer's disabled.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cool. Should I go?
Yeah. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. It says, do not restart or use your computer. Your computer is disabled. Please call Microsoft. Access the computer has been blocked for security reasons.
Oh, cool. So
Okay.
that's ominous.
Okay.
I'm gonna go then. I don't want your virus getting to me, whatever that is.
What's happening? Okay.
So don't forget to rate and review. Don't forget to tell your friends all about our podcast.
You'll have to end it without me. I love you all.
Abby? Okay, I'm gonna stop it now then. I've been Ashley, and Abby died. Till next time. Bye.